Hi, my name is Doug Phillips, and I am a guitar instructor up at the Lesson Studio in Boulder, Colorado. And I decided to make a blog today discussing some things that might help some adult students who already play a little bit of guitar, but are kind of struggling to find what to do next after learning some of your basic chords, like C, A minor, E minor, and then G. And so I've been teaching for about 15 years or so. Um, I've had many different types of students in that time, young kids, retired people, teenagers, college students. And one thing that I really struggled with, especially in the beginning, was to figure out something to teach people who already knew a little bit about guitar, but didn't want to quit their jobs and throw themselves full time into wanting to become like the next Eddie Van Halen or the next Segovia or something like that. Just something that they could probably practice for about 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes a day, and feel like they're getting better and kind of getting more technical ability on the instrument. And so a long time I struggled with this, trying to find something that would be something that they could do. And I tried a lot of different things, teaching them, pentatonic scales, and we got to practice your scales, an hour a day kind of thing. And that never worked. And it was hard to kind of keep the retention in especially for adult students. And then one day I was putting together a course for CU, class guitar, and I was finding that I had people in there who had played a little bit of guitar, and then some people had never played guitar at all, and then some people who had been playing for like 15 years who wanted an easy A. And I had to find something in there, or I had to develop something in the course so that way everyone got something out of it and no one felt kind of left behind, that I was not paying attention to the beginner students and I was also ignoring the more advanced students. And one thing, I was reading some books and trying to try different ideas. Some things were working, some things weren't working at all. And one thing that I found that really took off, and I got a lot of positive feedback from, was fingerstyle. Now I'm classically trained, see my nails right here. You don't have to grit your nails out if you want to do this technique. Works fine without them. It's more for nylon strings. But at any rate, what I found was that a lot of people who had played guitar for a long time, knew some rock and roll riffs and some scales and some chords, but they never really took the time to properly learn fingerstyle with a correct technique, or at least what I think is correct. Everyone has their own ideas. So what I found out was that by incorporating what's called Travis picking into your basic chords, you can take something that sounds really simple. Say this song right here, for example. Right, sounds all right and everything. Nice and pleasant. Right, with a few months of practice, anybody can really do that. But if you take that same progression and do something a little bit different with it. Right, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. I found that you can take these pretty chords and then put a little finger style in there, and all of a sudden it sounds like way better, and it sounds a little more intricate, and people go, "Oh wow, that's so cool." So what I have to share with you today is how to set that all up. So first things first, what you're going to do is you're going to take your right hand and you're going to extend it out in front of you. All right, you get your right hand extended out, and imagine there's a line going down the middle of your hand right here, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand and you're going to fold it in half while keeping this knuckle right here straight. Straight, there you go. So we're going to keep this straight right here, as straight as possible. So we have our hand like this, we got our knuckle straight. What you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb and you're going to bring it over the top of your first two fingers right here, finger 1 and finger 2. We'll talk about more of that in a second, what they're called. So you have your thumb over top. And then what you're going to do, expand your hand out while keeping the fingers curled. Right? You're going to make an O, just like this, right? And then what you do is you bring it around to the strings of the guitar. Move a bit closer so you can see a bit more detail. You're going to put your thumb on the 4th string of the guitar. You're going to put your index finger on the 3rd string of the guitar. You're going to put your middle on the 2nd, and then your ring finger on the 1st. So they're all on adjacent strings. And then what you're going to do is go ahead and just kind of squeeze the strings a little bit. Let your fingertips collapse a little bit. You don't want to be up like this. You don't want to have your fingertips flat out like this right here. You don't want to be what's called hyperextended when things are flexed out, or when your fingertips are bending out this way. You want to keep those fingertips curled and kind of squeeze the strings a little bit. And what you're going to do is you slide your thumb forward of the fingers, right? So you don't want your thumb back here, right? You don't want your thumb back behind the fingers. You want your thumb to be in front of the fingers. And then give those strings a good squeeze. And you want your fingertips to be facing back towards your elbow or back towards your palm, right? So you have your fingertips aimed back. And then remember, this is a big thing I see a lot of times in lessons, is that when I set people's hands up like this, they'll want to jam their fingertips into the strings. And if you try to play the guitar like that, it's going to be a long day. So you want to have just your fingertips touching the strings. So if I press in right here, and you can see the little indentations in my fingertips right there, that's kind of where you want the fingers to be sitting on the string. So you don't want too much finger inside, otherwise when you pull, it's going to snap the string a little bit. So your fingertips sitting on the strings right there. You want to avoid, I'm not going to tell, Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac that he can't put his pinky there. He's earned the right to play guitar however he wants. But if you want to play with a nice proper technique, it gives you a lot of mobility up and down the strings, but get a lot of different colors and things like that. You don't want to anchor yourself on the soundboard of the guitar. You want to have that mobility up and down the strings to create different colors and sounds. If you're worried about your hand kind of floating on the strings, I know a lot of people feel kind of like insecure without having it there. The idea, I'll show you in just a second, what the anchors are actually going to be on the strings. So you have your fingertips on here, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to extend the thumb up to the 5th string. So everyone else stays in position. The index, middle, and ring finger are going to be in the same position, but the thumb is just going to extend up from the hand right here. So you're not bringing your arm up. What you're doing is you're just extending the thumb up without moving the arm at all. Right? You don't want your fingertips to be up like this because we won't be in alignment. If you want to know more about alignments and right hand positions, obviously come see me at the lesson studio. We'll talk all day about it if you'd like. Anyway, so we have our fingertips on here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to leave your thumb in place, and you're going to leave your ring finger in place. And what you're going to do is you're going to lift your index and your middle finger just slightly off the strings, but you don't want to have them out here like this. I see this a lot where people are playing and they'll have their fingertips way out here. You want to keep them hovering over top of the strings that they're going to be playing on. And so what you're going to do is you're going to pass the thumb through. And the way we notate the thumb, we use the Spanish terms. I'm not going to say the Spanish terms because my Spanish is awful, and I'm not going to butcher it and embarrass myself. But what they call them is P is for thumb, I is the index finger, M is the middle finger, and then we call the ring finger A. And for those of you curious, even though we're not using it today, we call the pinky E. So P, I, M, A, and E. Right? So those are our fingers, so I'll be referring to those. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your fingertips on strings 3, 2, and 1. Remember, not too much through, right? We don't want to get caught on the strings, just slightly on top. And then we have our thumb on the 5th string. And what you're going to do is you're simply just going to pass the thumb through. So you pass this thumb through the strings. And then what you're going to do after that is you're going to take your middle finger and you're going to touch the 2nd string, the middle finger to the 2nd string, and pass it through. Index comes out and touches the 3rd string, and pass through. And let's do one more time. And we do thumb, middle, index. And the entire time we're doing this, the middle finger, or I'm sorry, the ring finger will be placed on the first string. So we have thumb, middle, index, and that ring finger gives us that stability. We're going to use it later on in other picking patterns, like the one I was doing earlier for Julia by the Beatles. But for right now, we just want to get a nice plant with the ring finger, and I'll show you how to do that later on if you're interested in knowing that sort of thing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the thumb in between the index and the middle finger. So we're going to go thumb, middle. Thumb is now on the fourth string, and then to index on the third string. So we're getting that alternating bass line that you hear in the what's called Travis picking pattern, named after Merle Travis, the famous guitar player. So we have thumb, 5, in middle, 2, thumb on the fourth string, index, third string, thumb, middle, thumb on 4, index. Thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, or P, M, P, I, P, M, P, I. And if we take a nice C chord, and if we just, rather than strumming it, we have our hands set up on here. We go thumb, middle, thumb, index, to a G chord. 7. And we've taken something that would have been and we've turned it into So you can see how taking just a simple right hand picking pattern, that one I call outside in. The reason why I call it outside in is called by that by other people, but the reason why I like that term is because you're starting the outer strings, right? You're starting on your on your fifth, and then your second, and then you move inside the string. So you're starting on the outside of the strings, and you're moving inwards. So the picking pattern is kind of contracting, right? So you have thumb, middle, thumb, index. So you're moving from strings 5 to 2 to 4 to 3. So I like the term outside in rather than the both, and I think the term works really well. So that's just one example of a right hand picking pattern. I teach many different kinds of picking patterns. There's a lot of basic ones, and you find all over rock and roll. You see Led Zeppelin, Going to California has it. Beatles, Julia had it. Radiohead, Street Spirit can be played with a Travis pattern, even though Tom York plays it with a pick. It works out really nice with a fingerstyle pattern. You can always play Green Day's Good Riddance is a good one to do on that uses a different right hand pattern. But at any rate, that's something that will hopefully get you started. And if you want to know more about this stuff, come by the lesson studio. I'd be more than happy to talk your ear off about different Travis patterns and different ways we can use it to make our chord progressions more interesting for both beginner students and adult students who are looking for something a little bit different but don't want to quit their day job and lose their house. So, all right, thank you so much, and I hope to see you through at the lesson studio.